Hey guys, it's Hayes with CheatSheetPros.com. Today is November 29th. It's Tuesday, about 2:30 in the afternoon, and I just wrote a little article on some same-game parlay props, and I wanted to walk through the sheet and kind of show you some of the things that jump out at me. So typically what I try to do on the nights where I am betting and laying some wagers down, I like to find 2 or 3 same-game parlay cards that I can put together for about a normal unit bet, so either plus money, minus 110, plus 110, 120, somewhere around in there. And then I like to find a couple that are a little bit more of a long shot, but they have a bigger payout. And then if I break even on the night, I'm happy as long as I got a sweat to try to win some good size money. So I'm going to flip through some of them that I found today that I really like. So let me look at some safe ones for you. So this first game that I want to look at is the Golden State Dallas game. There's only 3 games on the slate tonight, so not a lot to choose from. So the card that I went with here was plus 125, and I went with assists. Now, if you look at Luka and you look at Steph, their points on DK, you can pretty much get their floor, but it's like minus 500, minus 600. So putting those together, I didn't see a lot of value in them. So when I was flipping through here, I look at rebounds to see who's consistent. Wood's pretty consistent, but I think over 6 was like minus 380 or something nuts, so I didn't like that one. But when I got to assists, this jumped out at me here. 12, 9, 9, 8, and 11 for Luka. And then down here for Curry, 8, he had a low 4, but then 9, 15, and 10. Those kind of jumped out at me. So what I went with is I took Luka 6 plus assist. Now when I say 6 plus, that's the same as over 5.5. So 6 is a win. So you can see Luka has doubled that, 150% of that number, 150%, 2 over, and then almost doubled it again. So he has 5 games where he's absolutely crushed the 6 number. And 6 is all we're asking for. This should be a high-scoring game. So I went with that. It had a little better odds when I mixed it together. Curry, I went with 5 plus. You can see he's done it in 5 of the last 6 games. He missed it by 1, so we're looking for over 4.5. But when he's got 8, 9, 15, and 10, I'm going to take a shot on that. That's a little bit easier and gets a little bit better payout for me. Golden State Warriors, I added the over 104.5 team total points. Now over here on the bet tab, when you're flipping through this and you're looking at this, look at their last 3 games. They've scored 137, 129, 124, and I'm pretty sure this is the game where all 5 starters set because of the scheduling issue. But then 127, 111, 119, 132, 115, 106. So technically, if you throw out this game where the starters didn't play, they're 9-0 over that number. So I went ahead and added that leg in there. Because if they don't get over 105, likely none of these other legs are going to hit, so it doesn't matter. And then the 1 points prop I put in that jumped out at me, I wasn't even looking at Klay Thompson. Oh, let me get over here too. And if you're new to the sheet, up here, so over here you can click and go scroll through the 3 games. There's only 3 today. And then here you can click the drop down. So we show game logs for points, rebounds, assist, points, rebounds, assist, fantasy score, that's per DK, 3-point shots made, block steals. And then we've got these special categories, points, rebounds, points, assist, rebounds, assist. Those are a lot of fun. So let's go back over here to points. So when I was looking at this, look at Klay Thompson. 21, 20, 18, 41, 20, and 19. So his floor is about 18. You could say 18 to 20 points is pretty consistent. So I could add him into this at over 13.5 points, which feels pretty safe. He's getting over that by about 3 buckets a night. And those together, so Luka over 5.5 assists, Steph Curry over 4.5 assists, Klay Thompson over 13.5 points, and the Golden State Warriors over 104.5 points, is plus 125. So that's what really jumped out at me. So that's one leg that we'll call that leg number 1 that I put together, and I put a unit on it. And then the second leg, I wanted to get something. There's not a lot of options on these 3 games, but this Portland and Clipper game, I wanted to get some action on. So for the safe one, this one was minus 110, so nothing too exciting, but I took Jeremy Grant up here, and Anthony over 15 points each, which you can see 29, 15, 44, 38, 21, 20, 18, 29, something they're doing pretty simple. So I put those together. I needed another leg, so I put Nurkic in here, 17, 20, 22, 16, 18, 17. I just took him over 11.5 points and put him in there. That felt pretty safe to give me some sweat equity for the game. And then when I was flipping through rebounds and assists, I got over here to assists, and I was looking at Anthony and 6'5", 6'5", 7, and I could put over 2.5 on there and generate a minus 110. So that felt pretty safe. If it doesn't win, it's only 1 unit. I'm not that worried about it, but I feel pretty good about the Grant and Anthony each scoring 15 points. Nurkic over 12 points would be the one that could crap the bed and set me down, but if it does, no big deal. So that would be card number 2. And then for the third leg of this card, I went ahead and just went to the Knicks game, and I wanted to find some stuff to put in here. They didn't have any of the Detroit player props out yet, so I went ahead and went down here to the Knicks. So looking at the points, the first thing that jumped out at me was Jalen Brunson. Look at those 4 games, 30, 32, 34, 27, my God. And we'll talk about a long shot play here in a minute, but you can take over 29.5 points plus 425. So that's one that I would consider for a long shot parlay that we'll go over in a minute. But I took the first 2 cards that we went over on those 2 games, and this one, these 3 legs were minus 190, so I didn't bet it straight, but I put it in here, and then these 3 cards together, the first 2 I just went over, plus the 3 legs I'm going to give you, was plus 555. So I like that. It gives me 5.5 to 1. Pretty interesting, but I went with that. I just went with Jalen Brunson over 15 points, or 15 plus. So over 14.5, which you can see he's done it in 2, 4, 6 of the last 7 games. I took Julius Randle over 5.5 rebounds. He's got a good DVP spot here on rebounds, and let me see if you can see this up here in the corner. I think just barely. Let me slide over here. So you can see that Detroit's 29th in rebounds. They give up 45.5 per game. So he's in a good rebound spot. And then when we're looking at Randall down here at his recent game log, so I need 6. That's kind of the floor. And he's got 10, 6, 11, 6, 7, and 11. So these 6 are right on the number I need. So it's pretty close, but it allowed me to put a leg in there, and I put 1 unit on that to win basically 5.5 units. So those were kind of the 3 bets that I made so far. So again, we had the Warriors game at plus 125 for a unit, the Clippers at minus 110 for a unit, and then I put both of those with the Brunson Randall, and I did New York Knicks over 105.5. And then that was the plus 555. And how I came up with the New York Knicks over 105.5. Coming over here, look at their last 3 games: 123, 129, 129. So I wanted to take a shot. They're scoring a bunch of points. And then when you go down here and you look at Detroit's defensive efficiency, they're allowing a 1.13, meaning that they're giving up 113 points per 100 possessions. So you basically just need to get to about 97 possessions, and you're going to get over that number. And we have it projected around 103 to 105, somewhere in there. So I think that's easily done. So those are kind of the safer ones I went with. Now let's talk about the fun ones. So for the long shot, I'm going to go through and give you the 6 plays that I put together. The article on the website at CheatSheetPros lists out all of the plays that I flagged. Like, for example, Wiggins over 1.5 steals was plus 225, and over the last 4 games, he's got 2, 3, 3, and 2, giving him a 4-0 over number, and I'll show you how I found that. Let me show you that real quick. So I came over here to this game, and as I'm flipping down through here, I look at steals, and this jumped out at me right here with Wiggins, 2, 3, 3, 2 over the last 4 games. And over 1.5 or 2 plus was plus 225. So I thought that was pretty good. But again, it's really close. You don't have a lot of wiggle room there. I mean, you need 2, and he's getting right at 2. So I went ahead and threw that one out. When I had it in there, this one paid over 100 to 1, but I did kick it out. So I'm going to show you the games that the 6 picks that I went with. Now, these 6 picks paid plus 78.50. So basically 78.5 to 1 odds. So if you put $10 on it, it'd pay $780 and change. If you put 15, you'd be over 1,000. So you don't have to risk a lot of money on this. You can put a half a unit, a quarter unit, even a fraction of a unit, because it's going to pay 78 of whatever you bet. So anyways, it gives you a fun sweat. So let's run over these real quick. So the first game we have, this Detroit-New York Knicks game, I went with Jalen Brunson, 25 plus points. Now, we took a look at this one earlier, and these are on DraftKings. So I took over 25 points. He's got 30, 32, 34, 27 over the last 4 games. So he's got a 4-0 run on that number. So I felt pretty good about that. I said I'll put that in there for my long shot. And that was, let's see, did I write down? So 25 plus was plus 145. So what we're trying to do is put these plus monies together and generate a big payout. So with a 4-0 overrun, I felt pretty good about that. The one reach I did take was I took Randall over 9.5 rebounds. He's done it in 2 of the last 3 games, and you can see he's done it in 3 of the last 7 games, and he's got a fairly good DVP spot. So over 9.5 rebounds I went with. That was plus 180, so it generated that leg to plus 525. So $10 would pay 52.50. So that's kind of the leg. I like the Jalen Brunson side. The Randall's kind of a reach on the rebounds. He's only doing that about 40% of the time. But hey, we're going to take a shot. He's done it in 2 of the last 3 games. Why not? And they're scoring a ton of points, so that gives him the ability for more rebounds. And then let's go look at the Clipper game, and we'll save the best for last. So looking at the Clipper game, what I did here is I took Jeremy Grant. Can you hear my dog snoring in the background? This 85-pound monster won't leave my side. Anyways, I took Jeremy Grant over 25 points. So you can see here he's kind of up and down, but these last 3 games he has 29, 44, 21. And then the games he didn't, and Fernie kind of went bananas and went up. So one of these 2 guys is always going to pop. So if you're looking for something on DK to do, if you got a prop that you do like in this game, I would take Fernie over and take something really high, and then take another card with Grant and over, because one of them is likely going to go over. You can see one of them's pushing 25 to 30 each game. If neither one of them got there, I'd be shocked. But you can see no one else here coming off the bench is doing a ton except for Nurk. Hart, Winslow, they do a little bit, but neither one of them has broke 20 points yet, so not too worried about them. So for the purposes of this, I went with Jalen Brunson over... Oh, I skipped it. Jeremy Grant over 25 points, sorry. He's done it in 2 of the last 3. He has the ability to explode. He has a top 3 usage rate on his team, so he's projected at 21.5 points. So I went ahead and went with that. That was plus 200, so I like the odds there. And I needed another leg. They didn't have any or very many Clippers play, so I just took Fernie over 15, which you can see he's done that in 6 straight games, and that generated a plus 245 leg. So we've got the plus 525 and plus 245 legs on our dart. And then over here, the Dallas Golden State game, I'd say the prop I like the most is probably the Klay Thompson points. I mean, he's fairly consistent, 18 to 20 points. You can almost pencil that in for him. And so I just took 20 plus points. He's there 1, 2, 3, 4 of the last 5, missing 1 by a field goal. So it's kind of his ceiling. I mean, his ceiling here, 41, that's extreme. But these other games, he's kind of right around that number, but it was really good plus money. I think it was plus 145 for him to go over 19.5. So I added that in there, and then the Golden State team total I just put on there at over 114.5, which we looked at that a little bit earlier. Let's jump back over there. And so I need him to have 115 points, and they've got 137, 129, 124, 127. So it kind of gives you a little bit better odds to put that in there, and that generated a plus 270 leg. So those all together paid plus 78.50, actually plus 78.78, but for number's sakes, we'll just say 78.50. As far as the Grant one, it seems a little high, but again, this is a dart we're taking a reach on. You could go Fernie if you want to take him and then do the lower side of Jeremy Grant. I like the Brunson over. I like the Klay Thompson over. Those both seem pretty solid. But again, this one's going to pay 78.5 to 1 odds, so that's what I am going to roll with tonight. As far as NBA sports bets, I really didn't see anything that I like. Last night we hit 2 of 3. There were 6 games that I flagged that our model had a huge difference on. They were Phoenix, Houston, Cleveland, And then Pelicans, 76ers, Chicago. I ruled out Phoenix, Houston, and Cleveland because there was a lot of money against them and or the line moved against them by a certain number. So I crossed them off. So what we had posted on Twitter, Facebook, and in the chat was the Pelicans -5 or 5.5. I think they won by 3 or 4, so that was our loss. But then we had 76ers +1.5. They won, and we had Chicago +110, and they won. So we won 2 out of 3, so that's not too bad. And I'll flip through here and just see what they got tonight. So Knicks -5, we've got Knicks -4, so fairly close. Portland's -3.5, we've got Clippers -4, but with Paul George and all the players that are sitting or playing, I kind of stay away from Clippers. I don't like the way it spits out numbers here. This one's interesting. So we have Golden State -1.5 is what Vegas had it at. Last 10 record, we have Golden State 7-3. Dallas is only 3-7. And then our model here has Golden State -18 winning by a score of 125 to 107. So two things interesting here. We have a significant difference than Vegas. So this is a game I would probably look at making a play on. And then the 228, we've got it 232.5. So we also have it going over the total. So that's something that I would take a look at. The one thing I will caution you on, let me see, can you see this on your screen? Over here, so Dallas is 1-7 on the road, but they are 8-3 at home. So they play much better at home than they do on the road. And then you can see these last 3 losses they've had by 9, 5, and 13. They've all been on the road. And then they did get beat at home, but barely, only by 1. And then they had a decent home stretch. They won 3 of those 4, lost 1 to Houston. But then on the road, lost by 8, lost by 7. So I would take this with a grain of salt. Anytime you see the model spit out a number, come over here, look at the home road, see where they're at. Since Dallas is at home, they're 8-3, and then look at Golden State. They're 9-1 at home, but 2-9 on the road. So it's kind of hard to lay the 1.5 right there. So it's probably a side that I'll fade and just ride my SGPs for tonight. So anyways, that's what we got. If you're playing prize picks over here on the sheet, we've got, let me see if I can slide this over for you. We have a whole bunch of hit rates. We show your hit rate over the last 5, last 10 games, and then whatever the prop is. These are the game logs over the last 10 games, so you can see which ones hit. So right now we've got Andrew Wiggins points. Prop line was 16.5. He's averaging 22.7. And then you can see he's been 17 or more in 5 straight games for 100% hit rate over the last 5. And then we've got a few 80 balls here. So Brunson, Green, Wiggins, and Clay. Clay we kind of knew was going to come up in there. But you can see those are all high hit rate plays. And then what's fun is you can even go here and sort smallest. And if you want to bet some unders, look at the low hit rates. So for example, we have Dinwiddie, points 16.5. He's averaging 17.3. But it's basically just a couple of games, but he's got 15, 15, 11, 15, 9, and 16. So he's got a lot of unders here. And I color code these to where green is an over, red is an under. So it kind of makes it easy to look. If you want to look at the last 7 average, which is one of my favorite, and see the difference, then you can see the gaps here of who's going over. So Jalen Brunson, points, rebounds, assists, 33.5, but he's averaging 42.5. So he's going over by 9, and he's got 3 games in the 40s. So that would be one I would probably lean over if I was on price picks tonight. But again, a lot of information here to play with. So good luck, guys. Hopefully we can get some more content out this week. We have all the sheets posted. I actually got them up by noon today. They're usually up by Tuesday night by 9 p.m. because I do them after work. But since I was on vacation last week, I had some time. So we have the PGA cheat sheet, the Hero up. We've got the NBA morning sheet up. We've got college football, NFL, and the PY sheet. So good luck.